instant connection to a game because something about it was just different than all the rest. Almost special in a way that's indescribable. A package of so many unique elements that are done so well that it's actually hard to encapsulate what you love about it so much. That secret sauce that is so difficult for game developers to get right. We've all had that feeling at one point or another, but where I didn't expect to find this was during a tech test for a game that hadn't even announced its release date yet. Back in April, Arc Raiders held a 5-day key game system such as progression, combat, performance, and more, but it felt nothing like any alpha or even beta I had ever played before. I sunk nearly 40 hours into the game over a 5-day span, and I knew all—
I feel like this game for me, I would play on mouse and keyboard.
was just different. And when the tech test was over, I went into a massive gaming rut because all I wanted to do was play more Arc Raiders. In fact, it left such a lasting impression on me that I'm venturing out of my usual Destiny roots to cover this game as a mainstay on the channel. Arc Raiders has that secret sauce, and today I'll be showcasing why it's easily my most anticipated game for the remainder of 2025. So what is Arc Raiders? The game was originally announced all the way back in 2021 as a third-person PvE looter-shooter, somewhat similar to what you'd expect from The Division. However, Embark Studios—
I never played The Division.
for their development of the finals, delayed and iterated the game into the extraction shooter we know today. And you can tell how much time, effort, and care they've put into their game because they've—
One thing that I really liked about watching people play the beta was the sound was so good. And if you've been following the channel and watching my YouTube, I've been playing the Pathless, and the music and the orchestra in that is immaculate. I really like that, which coming from Apex and Call of Duty, like having such bad sound mechanics, I feel like I've really started to appreciate good sound in video games, something that I never really paid attention to before, but it has such a key aspect in terms of the immersion that you get into video games that now I really appreciate it. One second, let me just move over here.
We've been cooking. Arc Raiders took over Twitch seemingly out of nowhere by pure word of mouth during the second tech test back in April. And despite it being part of that—
Out of nowhere is a bit of a stretch. It was promoted on a lot of top streamers' channels. I specifically was watching it through CDN the Third, which is absolutely hysterical. But again, I really like the interactions that you could have with other random players. I've never played Tarkov, but I really like open mic concept. It's one of my favorite things in Call of Duty. You have the good and the bad, so it can go either way. But in the Arc Raiders interactions seem to be really, really entertaining.
Hardcore extraction shooter genre that certainly isn't for everyone, previously made popular by military simulators like Escape from Tarkov, viewers seem to find Arc Raiders much more approachable and watchable than other extraction shooters before it.
Very watchable.
The genre is known for its hardcore nature and intense gaming experiences that can give you the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. The thought of losing hard-earned loot can understandably be a major deterrent for a lot of people. But
I've never played an extraction shooter, so I don't know what that feels like. I guess I'll just have to wait and see. But I also think that I enjoy games a lot more when I'm not good at them. So going into my first extraction shooter and also playing on mouse and keyboard, which I'm going to be, I'm making the stakes so low that I'm hoping that it'll make it a much more enjoyable experience. But the thought of getting really good gear and losing it does definitely suck. I've never experienced that because each game of Apex, Call of Duty, Battlefield, you have your loadouts. Once you unlock them forever. It is what it is. So this will be a new experience that'll be pretty cool, pretty sweet.
Formula in a very good way. They've incorporated so many quality of life features into the core foundation of their game that helps make that vicious extraction shooter cycle much more enjoyable without it feeling overly casualized either. I find that tension and high-intensity moments are a necessary fiber of this genre's DNA, and if you fail to deliver on that adrenaline rush, people tend to lose interest pretty quickly.
And circle in every BR.
Delivered a harsh yet approachable world that constantly keeps you coming back for more. This balance can be attributed to a couple different things.
That's why people love BRs.
Application of the survival aspect that typically intimidates players from trying extraction shooters in the first place. You aren't surgically repairing limbs, worrying about dehydration, or managing hunger levels. Your only concern is making sure your health bar never hits zero. The second selling point is the wide range of progression systems, from an in-depth skill tree that can truly diversify your playstyle as you level up, to
everyone loves a skill tree.
Passively earn you XP and unlock badass crafting recipes, to
and some level growth in any video game as a mechanic for retention is so important. Unless you can unlock certain things from playing more, whether it's kills and leveling up and getting a battle pass, or your player gets better over time and stuff like Tarkov that you're unlocking, or in this case a tree for mechanics. It is so important for making people invested in wanting to come back. Otherwise it just becomes something on the rotation, which I plan on making this game in the rotation too, but still excited for it for all these reasons.
Upgrades to even a
and also I'm not making it overly complicated like
Helldivers model,
like Tarkov.
Cosmetics and rewards you for just playing the game. So even if a couple raids don't go your way, you're always making progress. They even give you an early game resource companion named Scrappy, a rooster that constantly loots basic necessities from the surface for you, giving you a steady flow of things like weapon parts, medical supplies, and other craftables that help you get right back into the action. Now,
that's pretty cool.
Systems are great, but if you don't find the world interesting, none of it really matters. And it may sound like I'm glazing the studio at this point, but I was genuinely immersed in the universe right away. You quickly learn that Earth has been overrun by a sort of alien mechanized threat known as the Ark, a group of mysterious interconnected robots that hunt down humans and essentially make the Earth's surface uninhabitable. And with this imposing threat, we're driven underground where we've created a safe haven known as Speranza as
this is like the Matrix
effort to save the human race. And the Ark Raiders are a specialized group of humans that go to the surface to scavenge for goods that keep our colony up and running. This means you're constantly evading the Ark patrolling the surface, also known as Topside, while simultaneously battling other human colonies that are competing for those same scarce resources for survival. It's a gritty and believable story that grabs your attention within just minutes of turning on the game.
I know it's connected to the finals.
Alive. Tension is a crucial part of
I love games with lore.
So many developers get wrong, but the Ark are genuinely terrifying. What may seem like a harmless patrol drone is actually a built-in alarm.
You will die.
Connects our foes, quickly calling in larger groups of robots for reinforcements that will swarm you in a matter of minutes. From bastions to hornets, bisons, and
I wish it was party sizes of 4.
These enemies are brutal and completely change the way you approach the game. Pick a fight at the wrong time, and the Ark will swarm you. Get greedy with loot, and that little patrol drone you ignored has suddenly called in reinforcements. There is a fine balance between finding the right times to PvP, loot high-tier areas, or take a more covert approach to just get your quests done. There are several cues that you can use to identify enemy player positions, such as car alarms, metal detectors, swarms of birds, alerted Ark forces, and even enemy flares in the sky that indicate when a player's been down. And as you become more experienced at reading this information, the easier the game becomes, giving a sense of skill expression for how you...
All of these scenes look so dope.
And the maps themselves are beautiful. They take full advantage of Unreal Engine 5, giving us massive explorable landscapes with dynamic weather and post-apocalyptic vibes.
And the sound.
Feel believable.
The sound.
It's not overly decayed or grayscaled like in other games. It's weathered, overgrown, and eerie in the best of ways. The maps are large enough to give a healthy balance between PvE and PvP, and are dense enough to make the world feel truly immersive. In fact, almost every building you see on the horizon is explorable space. It's not just a bunch of empty POIs with filler in between, it really does leave a ton of room for exploration. There were 3 maps included in the text.
Looks Assassin's Creed-esque.
With both day and night variations of the Dam Battlegrounds, Buried City, and Asera Spaceport available to play. A fourth map known as the Blue Gate has been teased repeatedly by the developer, so I think it's safe to assume that we'll have at least 4 maps at launch on October 30th. It's also worth noting that these maps have dynamic extract timers that change every single raid. This helps randomize the flow of the maps a bit and prevents extract campers from sitting in one place for an entire game. It's honestly one of the better mechanics I've seen in an extraction shooter to date, and one of the coolest details about Arc Raiders is the fact that you get a post-action report that literally showcases everywhere you've traveled on the map, which
That's really cool.
the type of loot you picked up, and so much more.
Especially for a new player, that's about to be fucking dope. Like, to be able to see where you were and have that recognition to be able to go back and associate it with the map. Really
It's a
clutch.
small thing, but it's one of many that really adds up to make for a unique gaming experience. And then we have the world bosses. This is such a cool wrinkle in the extraction shooter genre because these aren't your typical map bosses you'd see in games like Escape from Tarkov. These are massive raid boss level enemies that typically require coordination across several teams to take down. And as you can imagine, this presents a unique dynamic that forces enemy teams to either work together or betray each other in hopes of taking all of that loot for themselves.
I both love and feel like I'm going to hate that mechanic. It seems very interesting, and the in-world bosses remind me kind of Destiny. I can't remember if I don't think you can't kill people outside of certain areas of Destiny though, outside of PvP. So it's not exactly the same. But the concept of grouping up to tackle these large in-game bosses is really cool. Reminds me of Destiny, which I used to love.
Which only amplifies that tension the world has to offer. The Queen is incredibly strong and has multiple attacks that can easily wipe entire squads in a matter of seconds. The fact that there was a world boss in the tech test is insane in its own right, and I get hyped thinking about what types of enemies and mechanics they've been holding close to their chest because they don't want to spoil them for the full launch of the game. There are so many ways Embark can go with this, and that alone gets me so excited.
It's probably gonna get a lot better.
Similar to the way people feel about extraction shooters, third-person gameplay can also be a major turnoff for a lot of players. I'm an FPS enjoyer at heart, but the gameplay was honestly so good that I didn't really think about it while playing. As hard as it can be to try and set aside those preconceived notions, I genuinely encourage you to give this game a chance.
I haven't played a third-person shooter in the longest time.
A lot of the peak OG Dark Zone days in The Division, and the movement is just a cherry on top.
Never played The Division either.
Sliding, rolling, grappling, and
I don't think it's still online.
there is so much skill expression here, and it just makes the game fun to play. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and that's what I think makes it so special. Before I go, I'm gonna rapid fire some of the intricate details.
That is key. Watching my friends and streamers play Tarkov, it'd be easier to find the cure to cancer. Like, there are so many different variables and aspects that go into making your kit, like the weight that you can carry, all of these things. At some point it just becomes too much, and the casual gamer is just deterred from it. So I think not taking yourself too seriously, make it simple, but making it simple and also having an area of progression, or a progression tree in this case, I think is very important. And I think
that really stood out to
they target all of those.
the game's sound design. If I had to give a direct comparison, I'd easily put it in the same tier as Battlefield 6, and that may sound crazy, but it's genuinely cooked here. From enemy sound cues to environmental ambiance to even the subtle crack of an enemy shield, they absolutely nailed it. They even dropped a Soundscapes audio compilation on their YouTube channel last week that's already approaching 100,000 views. These are some of my favorite audio bits from that video as a sneak peek of what I'm talking about. Ah, it's just so good, man.
That literally sounds like it could be out of Tron.
Enemies have some sort of unique strength and weakness, and that some of these enemies even have special loot interactions. Whether it be weak points that affect an enemy's flight control, a weapon archetype that excels against some of the tankier mini-bosses, or a little Roomba that may look harmless, will actually light you on fire if you get too close.
That's funny.
Kill it, it'll give you materials that can either be used for crafting, or used in raid as a throwable weapon. And did you know that if you lose a fight with one of these enemies and get down near an extract, you can actually crawl into the elevator and use this unique interaction to successfully extract while down?
Oh.
It's a minor detail, but one of many that add up to make this game incredibly special. And like any game, I'm sure players will quickly identify flaws, as is normal with any new title on release, but Embark has already shown their willingness to make significant changes leading up to launch, and I have no doubt they'll continue to do that moving forward. They've already made balance adjustments to hatches, are updating maps based on player hotspots, and enhancing basic areas to make them higher tier loot zones, and are continuing to perfect the balance of the game leading up to launch.
Love that.
It remains to be seen as if
An actively involved studio is always
hook that has made
absolutely crucial.
Tarkov so popular for the better part of 10 years now. If they can stick the landing on the end game, I
Tarkov has been 10 years.
Raiders will join some of the giants in the gaming world as well. Well, Raiders, that's going to do it for the video. If you enjoyed, a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated as it helps others.
So, a couple of things. Embark seems really awesome. I really enjoyed the finals. I know I don't play it on stream as much. I play it off stream though. Really like that game. And this is just their second game that they've produced that I could see, that I've Googled. One potential downfall is that they did just get acquired by Nexon, which, talking to some of my friends, a lot of their games incorporate pay to win. The only game that I've played from Nexon is Maple Story, which is kind of the same. But hopefully, as long as Embark stays close to the game and continues to update it and progress it, push it forward in the way that they've developed it, and from like the beta, I'm really excited about it. And it's definitely a game that I plan on buying and playing on release. So you'll see some more videos about it on the channel and clips and stuff. So stay tuned for that because I'm looking forward to it. I believe it releases October 31st, so we still have about a month and a week, but in time we'll be there. We'll be dropping and killing these bots with other randoms. So the open mic cons should make a good time. I'll see you guys later. Bye.